Awesome. So to kick things off, I do start with the same boring ass question every time because I refuse to sit down and think of anything better. Simple introduction. Who are you and why are we having this chat?
Yeah, my name's Nathan James. I'm a musician and I'm an artist.
Yeah.
We're having a little combo.
Yeah, absolutely. For those that aren't familiar with you, I think you come from a pretty unique background. So you've got the musician part, but also the artist is kind of twofold, right? Like you
Yeah.
do photography, you do some producing, if I'm not mistaken. So talk a little bit about being a multifaceted artist and trying to make a name in each of the different, you know, areas of expertise, if you will.
Yeah. I've always been someone who's just into, anything that's like creative, you know,
Yeah.
styling, music, sounds, things, building shit, just anything creative I've always enjoyed. So being, multifaceted and just like a lot of areas that involve art is very beneficial for when, you're a musician.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that there's a lot of things I can't do, but there's a lot of things I can do as well. And so I just try to use a lot of my cans to make shit happen.
Yeah.
And I'm just, one step at a time, just always trying to make it happen.
Yeah. So, as a photographer myself, I do concert photography and whatnot. And, so I'm a little familiar with that side of your work as well. Talk about working with some of the more iconic, you're obviously well known for like your Lil Wayne shots and some of that sort of stuff. What's it like getting the recognition from kind of that upper echelon, especially in genres that aren't yours? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's cool. I think when I first started, when I do it, when I start anything, right, I'm always wanting to like be top dog.
Yeah.
And when I started photography, I was like, I want to be the fucking Gucci of photography, and I feel like I achieved a lot of that with my quality and then the type of clientele that I had, which is great. Um, but then a lot of it, I don't know, like I got bored of it. And I think I got bored of it because I found music. And I was like, man, I like music way more than I like photography.
Yeah.
And I want to be the fucking goat at that shit.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying, 5 years in, and I'm going to keep fucking going, man, just as hard as when I started until I'm dead. I'm going to just keep going.
Yeah. Well, and I think, so I photographed you in Indianapolis on that tour with Butcher Babies and
Oh, yeah,
Attila
Taylor.
and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, dope show. And I think one thing that's fun for me as a photographer, and maybe your photography background plays a part in this, is the cinematics and the imagery that you portray. It makes for much better photos, much better fan interactions and stuff, I
Yeah.
think, because it's
Totally.
not just some dude standing there with a mic.
Yeah. Yeah, the wardrobe, the yeah, I know exactly, and that's my whole thing. Every, especially bands my size, they don't do that.
Right.
Take bands who are way bigger than me, a lot of them don't do that. So there's not many people in general who do that. Now, as I continue to get bigger and have more funds and money to do my own shit, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna blow people the fuck away,
Right.
with just what I want to do and how I want it to look, because I just love doing that stuff, and it makes it more fun for the people there watching too.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, there's a lot of thematic, cinematic, conceptual bands out there. Ice Nine Kills, in this
Yeah, Ice
moment.
Nine Kills, great example. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just shot Guar and Static X last night. Like, doesn't get much more thematic than Guar, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
not at all.
so,
Blood everywhere.
dude, it was insane. So for you though, you're also creating the visuals are tying into the art that you're creating musically.
Yeah.
How important is that to stay kind of on brand and tell the story? Because I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you're doing your albums necessarily as a true conceptual album, but there is some continuity between them in the
Yeah, it's
storytelling.
not like an entirely, A to B thing, but yeah, it's definitely relatable and all cohesive, and it all is puzzle piece fitting together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I'm just fucking excited, man. All these videos, curious to see what people think.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I just want to keep doing it, man. I just want to do more of it, and I want to do it faster and bigger and better. And I just want more. I just want fucking more, dude.
And that's great to hear because I think, you know, you're still quote unquote young in the music industry, right? Like you
Yeah,
said, about
very.
5 years or
5 years
so.
in.
Um, but it does seem like, you've been able to gain some pretty good success between streaming and YouTube views, things like that. There are so many bands out there, and I'm not going to name drop, but like that just get complacent immediately. They have one thing that pops off, and then it's like, okay, we'll coast. And it's like, you aren't that way. It's my foot's down and I'm going,
Yeah.
whether this pops off or not.
Yep.
What gives you that motivation to keep pushing forward?
You know, it's funny you say that. I was in the gym the other day, okay, and I was on the stair stepper, and I
Hate
said,
that shit.
yeah, and I said, I don't want to get off this stair stepper until the stair stepper says I burned over 400 calories. And at about 225 calories burned, I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
And I just remembered, I was like, man, well, I used to be a really good wrestler when I was a younger, and even when I was a little kid, like when I first started.
Yeah.
At the end of these practices, sometimes we'd hang up on a pull-up bar. The whole team, there's these long pull-up bars. We all hang up there, and you see who can hang the longest.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said to myself, I'm the motherfucker who always stayed on the bar till the very end. And that's what keeps me going, is like, I just am not a quitting motherfucker. I will stay until I physically cannot hang on the bar any longer. So
Yeah.
that's where that comes from. It's just been enrooted in me, instilled in me since I was a little kid, is you just are not a quitting motherfucker. You just make shit happen. You figure it the fuck out.
Yeah. And I obviously don't know, your childhood or anything like that, but do you think that the lifestyle that you lived and the kind of environment that you grew up in played a factor in giving you that perseverance edge?
100%. Kill or be killed type of instinct,
Yeah.
wolf mentality. Everyone's after the same piece of meat. You got to go get it.
Yeah.
You know, um, definitely my dad, uh, just yeah, mentally taught me to be tough as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
Yeah. And that's something I think, sometimes, the toxic masculinity, right? Like it gets misconstrued. There is such a thing as toxic masculinity, but when you channel all of that masculinity correctly and the energy and the drive to persevere, it becomes this completely other thing where like instead of becoming this toxic thing, you kind of become the symbol of hope to some extent, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's everything in life, right? It's got to have balance, and I feel like I'm very balanced.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm enhanced. I'm balanced. I'm poised. I know when to be what. And yeah, when it comes to just me pursuing my music career, I got to be gentle and I got to be tough. I got to be both those things. And I got to know when to turn on one or the other or have both on, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the big secret for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, let's talk about navigating that a little bit, right? Because you're very much in the DIY ethos. Like you have a team behind you now with some of the stuff, but like talk about, you know, the you start to make something that is getting some attention and how many hands come out that, oh, if you pay me, I can do something for you. What's it like trying to figure that shit out?
Yeah, if anyone ever comes up to you and says, "Hey, I can do this for you, but it's going to cost this," they usually suck. It's the people who are great at it that say, "Hey, I don't want any money. Let me prove to you, and then we can figure it out from there."
Yeah.
That's what I've learned with all business stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, which is it's an awesome thing because I say that all the time, especially to younger bands, that what you'll find in the music industry, as cutthroat as it is, the ones that believe in your project are going to be there whether you have the funds or not.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. And they're going to be with you through the highs and the lows and the hard times. And yeah, it's just the music space is it's interesting. You know. Um, but yeah, I just want to build my own dynasty, so I don't have to be a part of it. I can do everything on my own. All these
Yeah,
gatekeepers and just pussy fake motherfuckers can go suck a dick. I just do it all on my own.
yeah. Well, and especially in the, the new metal, whatever broad stroke fucking thing you want to put on you for the genre label. The alternative music space, though, like there are so many gatekeepers that the second you say new metal, people go, "Oh, he doesn't sound like Korn. He doesn't sound like that." Like, yeah, no shit. There's more to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like any other genre, like pop, country, hip hop, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Like there's different sounds and tones and everything, and that's what makes it unique. You know what I mean? You don't want to sound like everything else. It's just boring, and you just another white sheep in the herd.
Mm-hmm. But there really is a science to it, right? Like if I want a top 40 hit, there's four chords that I need to go play. They've all been played before. I need to do it at this specific tempo, and I think that's the cool thing with like new metal, goth, industrial, alt music is like, yeah, we could technically go do that,
Yeah.
but we don't fucking want to. That doesn't deliver the message we want.
Yeah, I had that conversation the other day about how, if I was just trying to make songs for top hits, most amount of streams, fucking sure as fuck wouldn't be doing new metal,
Right.
you know? And if I was doing new metal, I'd be making new metal music like Deftones,
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is on this whole shoegaze thing right now,
Yeah.
which I just think they should call it Deftones genre because
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. And that's cool. I love that music. It's great music. But I mean, fuck. It's deaf someone else singing a Deftone song that's not
Yeah.
out yet. Um, so I think but again, there's a way to do that without it being like so like Jesus Christ. Well, this is just Deftones 2025, and I'm gonna be doing that, or I have done that before this was a trend. Like my song Appetite that came out in 2021 before fucking the shoegaze or whatever you want to fucking call it was a whole fucking you know trend.
Yeah.
I've done that at my song Appetite Akasha. It's very it's different. It's not just a straight rip of fucking Deftones music.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah. I totally agree. And I think, for me, for what I've taken away from your music too, is that, again, if you wanted to do the mainstream trendy thing, sure you could, but like they're not talking about the same things. They're not giving the same emotions and
yeah, and
messages.
it's just also it's just not that type of shit's not me. Just like you see
Right.
all these artists who are rock artists or hip hop artists, and now they're doing fucking country music.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is true to some of these people, and it's authentic to them. But I mean, I don't know. For me, I'd look at it and just go, clown shit. You clown ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And there's so many clowns. Oh God, music industry is just full of chameleons. Whatever they need to, whatever color they need to be, they'll be that color.
Yeah.
And it's just disgusting. And I can't stand it, and I hate it. And they're just a bunch of fucks.
Yeah. I fully agree. And the one that comes to mind, I'll throw him under the bus because he'll never listen to this anyway, is MGK. I
Uh,
just told a friend the other day that like Eminem killing him in the rap genre was the best thing to happen to his career.
yeah,
But then he just dropped this little boy band pop shit.
yeah. I despise MGK,
Yeah.
and I used to do some photo work for him back in 2020, 2021. And, there's some things on my album coming up and music video wise that are going to be kind of calling him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did some things to me and said some things to me over the phone about myself and my family and threatening them and
Mm.
myself and friends. And yeah, I'm never one to start drama, but
But you'll finish it.
I will finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're so fucking tough and huff puff, come to me one on one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell
No,
me how you feel. Show me that I'm gonna be on my hands and knees kissing your feet like you said to me on the phone.
yeah.
Show me. I want you to show me. By yourself, me and you. You show me that. I'll
Right.
fucking beat your ass. Man. Yeah. Just come get it when you're ready. Call me up.
Yeah.
Anytime, any place. One on one. Make sure the camera's rolling because I'm gonna whoop that ass. I hate that, dude.
Yeah. I honestly had no idea that that went that deep, but I'm glad that it did because
Yeah.
I think it goes to show like, you have the song Los Angeles that just dropped recently too that like kind of highlights this, right? The shit
Well,
part of Hollywood.
yes, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So like with that, what I'm going towards here is, so many people get caught up on the Instagram image or the music video image, or, like it's easy to turn it on for TV, right? But who are they behind closed doors? And I think that's a prime example that, like, yeah, he can go out and, you know, play pretty, play nice, whatever, when he needs to. But that doesn't stop you from being a shit human being. And
Yeah,
shit
I
human
mean,
beings get called out.
here's the reality of it, right? People are misunderstood all the time, and you're either misunderstood for good things or misunderstood for bad things, right?
Right.
Or both. And I think for me, a lot of people misunderstand me as like this bully when I'm not. I'm just someone who's just having to defend myself from bullies,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm not going to quiver in a corner. I'm not going to act like it doesn't happen. I'm going to speak up and I'm going to say something. I'm going to defend myself just like I would expect someone else to defend themselves if they were attacked that way. And I would encourage anyone who is being, mistreated that way to stand up for yourself. And it doesn't mean you need to revert to violence, but it does mean that you can use your voice,
Right.
you know? And that's what I'm doing, like I have a song called Tickets to Your Downfall, a playoff of MGK's album Tickets to My Downfall, which is the
Right.
album cover I also shot. And I released this sort of kind of new metal version of a diss track, so to speak. That's a very untraditional way of a diss track. It's not just me rapping bars, it's more about like the visuals and everything like that. But I had to halt the whole release of that, even though the song came out, I had to halt it. And I never got to put out the video or the short form content or anything other than the cover photo.
Yeah.
But it's coming. It's coming soon. I'm not going to get into the details of why I had to halt that release, but it's coming and I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. I love that because I think, you know, it's not, like you said, it's not about being a bully or feeding into some made up beef or anything. It's about standing up for what's right, standing up for yourself and
Yeah,
for what's
man. And
best.
you got these guys who just think they can just say and do whatever they want and they get away with it, especially if it's, a smaller artist,
Yeah.
right? Hell yeah, I can take a shit on them and spit on them. They ain't gonna do shit. Yeah, right, bitch. Not with me. I'm not the fucking one.
Yeah.
Not the one. I'm a really nice guy, and like I said, I don't start drama. But you come my way with threatening me with shit, I'm gonna fucking end that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I fully support that.
yeah,
So for people, you've got the new album coming up soon, Hollywood Mortician, coming out in a little over a month now.
yeah. July
Let's
11th.
Yeah, let's dive into that some. So obviously, Tickets to Your Downfall is included in that track listing.
Yep.
You've released several singles off of this already. From a format standpoint, how important do you see album versus single cycles?
Okay, so singles are great, right? Because you can put all your energy, money, time, and attention on one song, right?
Mhm.
You can try to give it the best swing you got, you know. And then I think albums are great because it's a body of work and all those songs exist in there, and you can still treat all those songs in there like singles. You can work them like a single. You can
Yeah.
say, hey, for this month, I'm going to really focus mainly on pushing this song. For this next month, I'm going to really focus on pushing on this song, or vice versa. This week, this song, next week, that song. You know what I mean? Whatever
Yeah.
formula you want and you see is working, you can do. So that's what I'm excited for. I'm gonna have 5 fucking new songs plus all these other ones where I can just say, all right, let's try this. That didn't work. Okay, let's try this. That didn't work. Or shit, this is working. That's working. Fuck yeah, let's just machine it all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah. And talk a little bit about, I think, especially for younger bands, learning how to pivot on, especially like your short form content and figuring
Yeah.
out what works.
Fuck, that's tough, dude. Yeah, short form content is so tough because you don't know what's gonna work. The best thing you can do is look at what other artists have done that have gone viral,
Hmm.
and then say, can I do that my own way and my own thing and see if it works for me?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, sometimes it'll go viral, And then with a new song, it won't go viral. And then with the next, well, then with the sixth song, it will go viral, or it will do okay or do solid. And it's just like, it's just how it is, you know. Right now, it's all about short form and just posting on every social media platform you can,
Mm-hmm.
and just keeping your fingers crossed that something goes viral or just does well. And yeah, you just got to continue that process. There'll be
Yeah.
times where things go viral, and there'll be times where things are just doing well, and you got to just keep doing well, because those wells are wins too, because they stack like this.
Right.
Viral goes like this, doing well goes like this. Just, you know, so you gotta stack that shit.
Yeah. For you, what advice can you give on, because I feel like you've been pretty good about, as much as you may love a song, how do you kind of give up that this is my baby and shift that focus when you need to?
Okay, if in a 30-day period I've put out, you know, 15 or more pieces of content promoting this song and nothing's really happened, on to the next.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it in a couple months, or whatever, and we'll try it again, or a year or 2 years, who knows. We'll come back to it. But yeah, that's kind of been my thing, you know. If I've posted on 5 different social media platforms different pieces of content, different parts of the song, and nothing's really taken off, then maybe now it's just not the right time for that song. On to the next.
Yeah. And
You know,
you've had that happen with some of your previous work,
fuck
right?
yeah, I have that happen. I have that happen way more than I don't have it happen. You know what I mean? And that's the name of the game. You know what I mean? Not every song you drop is just gonna explode. You know?
Right.
So, and then that doesn't mean it's a bad song. It could be your best song you have, and it could be your most liked song you have. It's just, you weren't able to figure out how to get it to hit to the right people you need to get it to. You know?
Yeah. Well, and like you said, sometimes it's timing, right? Like whether that's the timing for certain people to hear it, what's going on in the world, you know what I mean? Like especially with your newest single, like with all the Hollywood shit that's happened, like it's the perfect time for that song to be popping off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's not. You know, and
Right.
that's okay. You know, like that's okay. Like you just fuck it. I know it's a good song. I love the music video. I love the song. I can't wait to play it live. You know, well, I'll get content of it when it's live, and maybe one of the live pieces of content will really make it pop off. I don't know, you know, or maybe someone will post on about it 5 years from now, and that will go insane, or it's in a movie. Who fucking knows? You know, we just never know. We just
Yeah.
we just keep we just head down, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You know.
Yeah. And I again, I love that about your mentality and your focus, that like, shit's going to happen one way or the other, right? Whether it's good, whether it's bad, but if I just keep moving forward, it's all going to work out.
Yeah, exactly. You're on my fucking ship, or you're not.
Yeah.
You know, my fucking train doesn't stop for nobody. It makes it stops. You get on and it goes, and you stay on or you stay off, but you don't hold up the time of when it's got to leave to the next station because it's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Um, let's talk a little bit about crafting the album. What's kind of your process when you're building an album? Again, it's semi-conceptual, but not fully. Are you thinking about that at all while you're writing songs? Or
no.
yeah,
So when I how this album came about to be called Hollywood Mortician, everything on it was I saw what I already had and what I wanted on the album, and all these other songs that I've written that aren't on the album. I saw the similarity here of like, fuck, there's a comparison here,
yeah,
some cohesiveness here, and that's where the whole name Hollywood Mortician came about. You know what I mean? Is I feel like I'm this person who lives in Hollywood, deals with a lot of bullshit, and I'm slicing and dicing through all the fake shit and keeping all the good shit, and just here's this body of work that just kind of is talking about that type of shit. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you're writing songs, do you find it easier to do the sonic stuff first, or is it lyrics and then kind of fitting music around it?
Always different. I love to start the instrumental first and then start to find a melody and then start to find lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that because you know the emotion that you want to portray through the song?
Yeah, because for example, right, as long as can feel like that instrumental is giving me the feels that I want, then I'm like, okay, cool. Now let's find the melody for this part. And once I find the melody for this part of now I can put lyrics to that flow. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Um, when you're working on an album such as this one, how much focus or intentionality goes into knowing how it's going to feel live? Because obviously we want the live emotion and energy, but at the same time it's the studio.
Wait, say that question again.
So like when you're writing the songs, how much intentionality is there to like, how can I make
Oh,
this go hard live, you know?
yeah, I picture it all the time live.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in the studio, I think of, I'm on stage and I got a crowd of people. I think of how it would look and what movements I would do on stage, because you see me perform live.
Yeah.
I love to fucking give that, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think it helps you, and I ask this, kind of for other bands that hopefully listen to this, do you think that helps you with the structure of it so that you won't blow yourself up on stage with it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I read a song, I'm like, Jesus, that's gonna be hard to perform live,
Right.
especially after I just performed 6 other songs. Holy fuck. But that's where just practice comes in and conditioning, just like an exercise or a workout. You got to do lots of rehearsals to have that um, cardio to keep up. Because
Yeah.
a lot of bands too, they could sing some crazy heavy shit, but they're not going ape shit on stage. And
Yeah.
as long as I'm on stage and I have room, now there's some shows, because I'm not the headliner, where I got no space to go ape shit. But when I do got space to go ape shit, I'm going fucking ape shit. And to go ape shit, scream, sing, and fucking rap is exhausting, and you got to be in shape for that. Now, it wouldn't be a problem if I just stood still most of the time
Right.
and did that like a lot of bands do, but that is not how I do it. I want to get on stage and make it known I'm King Kong in this bitch. Get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
So,
That's exactly, that indie stage down in the deluxe was not big, but
yeah.
you made
Yeah,
command
I'll
of it,
always make do with the little room I have, but yeah, like in a perfect world where I got a little bit of room to move
Yeah.
around and do my fucking donkey stomps, I'm fucking stomping on hose. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, with that as well, in the live setting, when you're performing, and especially like the transition from the heavy into the rap or vice versa, how much crowd reaction impacts your mentality of it? Like, are you even aware of them at
Oh
that point?
yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, you love it when the crowd's like eating it up, and it's hard when the crowd's just like, And sometimes I know it's like the crowd's not eating it up, but it's their first time really hearing me or knowing me, and they're just like in shock, like, holy
Right.
fuck, this is I don't even know what this is fucking insane, But there's that other times too, like when people are just you know ready to rip heads off and fucking pull teeth, like that's the best.
Yeah. And that's why, like, for that show, you were the opener. And that's, I tell everybody, like, I don't care if the headliner's the only band that you know or like, show up, because your energy to kick off that show was insane, man. Like, talk about getting a room ready for everybody else that's coming. How important is that to you in that mentality as well? With like, I'm
Well,
here to show up, right?
yeah, here's the thing, right? Yes, I'm an opener, but my performance and how we are on stage is not opener
Yeah.
level. It's headliner shit. I'm just not there yet, fan base wise, to do a headline show like
Yeah.
that. But our performance is big dog shit, big dick energy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I think that's again, the thing that drew me into your set so much was, again, people are just, oh, it's the opener, it doesn't really matter. And it's like, this motherfucker's out here busting his balls. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely not an opener, and sometimes politically, again, you take
right.
shit so you can get other shit, and you take a shitty slot that you shouldn't have, and even other people on the fucking tour know you shouldn't be the opener. They should be the opener, but you sometimes got to deal with that bullshit to get to where you want to go. So it's just fucking pay your dues.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's talk a little bit about Crowd Kill Records, right?
yeah,
So you're working with them now. Talk a little bit about just the mentality that they have and the obvious creative control that they've given you over your own project.
yeah. They've been great. I love Lorenzo and I love Anthony. Um, they're great to bounce ideas off and game plan. Hey, do we do this? Do we not do this? And yeah, I can do whatever the fuck I want, which is great. And they wouldn't have wanted to sign me or work with me if they didn't believe in my vision and trust what I like to do. So that's why it's a nice working relationship, because they brought me on not because they want to change me, but because they like what I do and just want me to continue what I'm doing and just be their support and however they can. And they're great for that.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure you've seen it in Hollywood and the music industry in general, where sometimes it's kind of the polar opposite of that, right? Where you've got a great voice, like or you're pretty, like we think we can do something with you, but you're gonna have to move over here and do this genre.
Yeah, and also it's like, that doesn't fucking matter, right? Like you want to sign someone who's already got something going for themselves
Yeah,
a little bit and then just enhance by putting more fuel onto the fire. You don't want to try to start a fire from scratch with someone that you don't fucking know what they're going to do or how they're going to work or how they're going to respond to adversity. You want an artist who's been doing it on their own, been dealing with adversity and are making things happen, and that holy shit, they've been doing all this bullshit by themselves and gotten to hear by themselves. We could definitely help with this and it just make things easier, better.
yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
For this album, again, 5 tracks still left, a lot of content ideas bumping around in your head. Obviously we don't want to sell this short, but are you already planning the next album or the next thing, or are you really focused in on this?
I mean, I'm definitely only locked in on this, but when ideas come, they come. Um, and I'm writing new songs too already that aren't even finished yet. Um, and I have an album name already for the next album potentially. I don't
Right.
know if it'll fit or not, but I just love how it sounds. It's just like, fuck, that's cool as shit. Just as cool as Hollywood Mortician. But we'll see if that even fits or makes sense. Maybe it's just a song name, maybe it's an album name, maybe it's both. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always find it interesting because, again, you said it perfectly, like things come when they come, right? And
Mhm.
I think so often outsiders, casual fans, whatever, sometimes think like, oh, they did this thing, now they're going to go tour for a year and a half and then we have to wait for an album, not realizing how much work's going on in the background. If you had to guess, what, are you at 50 song starts, or kind of where's your library at right now?
Zero. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I have two songs in the works right now, so I guess you could say two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, two songs in the works, right? Yeah. Yeah, two songs in the works, which is good. That's right where I need to be. Because for the rest of this year, I'm gonna not put out any of those songs. It's all gonna be about this
Right.
album. So wouldn't be until 2026 until new songs happen. Or January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Right? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll probably start trying to make some more new songs and like really heavily start to get on board with make some new tracks in September, October.
Yeah.
Hopefully tour in October, November, December. And then, put out some new songs, new project in you know, March, April, May, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. um you I could be wrong on this. I don't believe you've done much like feature work or collaborations, but who are some that are on your radar that you'd like to work with on
Oh man. Marilyn Manson. Holy fuck. God damn it. Yeah, I'd really love to do something with him. Um Suicide Boys, Ghost Main,
that? Yeah.
um, Slaughter to Prevail, Falling in Reverse, Nothing More, um, Corn, fucking A.
Right, like that one was given, come on.
Yeah, Slipknot, like all those given ones, But yeah, I love that,
Yeah. And what I love about your answer there is I've asked that question to so many different artists, and it always seems like they try to stick to their genre. And I think the beautiful thing with your answer there was like you have everything from pure rap ish with Suicide Boys all the way over to, true new metal with Corn. And I
Yeah.
think that's the nice thing with your music though, is like whether you want to call it new metal, goth, industrial, whatever, alt metal, it fits into so many different genres.
Sure fucking does, man. That's why I would want to just do songs with like so many different like people, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like shit. Did a song with Lady Gaga,
Hey,
crazy.
why
Billie Eilish
not, right?
would be crazy. Lil Wayne would be crazy. 50 Cent would be nuts. Eminem, you know. I would love
Yeah.
to do songs with those types of people, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's completely possible because of your drive and mentality as well, that like
Yeah,
without sacrificing yourself too much as far as your style, your authenticity, or anything like that, there's something in all of those names that you've
for
dropped.
sure. Yeah, and even too one I didn't mention yet, Post Malone. Fuck,
Yeah.
you know, would be cool as shit.
Would you want country post or do you want rap post?
Nah, not country post. I'd want more like the rocky rappy post. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of country music. I think
me
there's
either.
some cool. I think there's some cool stuff, but yeah, it's not my thing.
Especially current country music is basically pop, and I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Yeah,
It's basically pop with a little bit of twang,
yeah,
and that's
straight
it.
up. Yeah, it's very pop,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's just not my cup of tea.
yeah, no, totally agree. Now that being said, if Taylor Swift was like, "Hey Nathan, I need you on this track," you're going to do it, right?
Not gonna say no.
Yeah, I'm sure that paycheck comes with a couple commas on it, so why not?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
A
not
lot of streams, a lot of
Yeah,
opportunities that will happen after that.
for sure. Um, you've got to tour with some incredible people in this moment: Kim Dracula, Attila, Butcher Babies. I mean, the list goes on and on. Who are some of the artists that you've played shows with that like either you look up to or you've been able to look at things that they do and go, that's fucking dope, I can do this?
Mm. Yeah, every show I've gone to, right? I go there like a student, and I'm just trying to study the things they do. No matter how big you are, how small you are, I'm always just being like, "Oh fuck, that's a great idea. I need to incorporate something like that in my set."
Yeah,
So I'm always studying. I'm always learning. I'm a student of the game. You know?
yeah. See, and again, I love that because I'm a big pop punk fan myself, and it's kind of cookie cutter. But there's a
Mhm.
few bands that are like, Newfound Glory's been doing it for whatever they were at now, 25 fucking years. So
Yeah,
like their set has obviously evolved over the years. But I think again, the beautiful thing with like you, Ice Nine Kills, some of these thematic bands is like I'm getting a badass vocal, experience, but
yeah,
there's also a show going on.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So for future Nathan, obviously you're working towards headlines and stuff like that. How cinematic do you want to be with those stage shows? Are you thinking like Ice Nine Kills level stuff?
Um. Okay. You know, you have Ice Nine Kills cinematic, and you have Marilyn Manson cinematic,
Yeah.
right? Mine falls somewhere in between both. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
it'd be my own way of cinematics. You know, um, I don't want to say it'd be something that no one's ever done before, but it'd definitely be something where people haven't they seen a hell of a lot less than they have a lot more of it. You know,
Yeah.
it'll be very different. You know, like when the money's coming in to where I can do what I want to do. Yeah, people are gonna be like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and that's the overall game plan, right? Is whether you're, again, new metal, the goth industrial, whatever fucking genre people want to put you in, at the end of the day, like you want people to hear the song and be like, oh, that's a Nathan James song.
yeah,
Like it doesn't
exactly.
matter what genre.
Yeah, and I want people to know, like what the Nathan James is about, and I think a lot of my songs are about just standing up for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
not being pushed around, believing in yourself, not quitting, and really truly believing that you having that King Kong mentality.
Yeah.
Just you can do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's the what I think people are starting to understand.
Yeah. I think so too. And I think for me, one of those songs that comes to mind when you say that is Alienation,
Hmm.
because it's that like fuck everybody else. This is me. Kind of like if it alienates me, tough shit. Like I don't want to be around the fake people anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. And that was a more vulnerable song for me too, because yeah, I was just, going through a really hard time with just man, sometimes there's been phases of my life, like, every so many years I get this like crazy anxiety where like I can't function to do anything.
Hmm.
Like it sounds ridiculous to talk about it like that, but holy fuck, if you experience it, you'd know what I'm saying. And yeah, that's how Alienation was written, because I just felt like an alien in my own body,
Yeah.
And yeah, that's literally how the whole song was written. And I was just like freaking out, shaking the day I was writing it. I was in the studio when this whole like episode for like months was going on, or every day just kind of like tweaked out. And yeah, I just was like, damn, I gotta do this. And I was like, holy shit, I just feel like an alien. I just because of that, that's how that song was made and all those lyrics. Yeah, it ended up being a beautiful song.
Yeah, for sure does. And
And
I
not every
actually,
song's like that. Most songs not like that, you
right.
know. And that was just a true like in the moment written song that came to fruition.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the most beautiful piece of art. So, and I think this is one of those cases.
Yeah.
Um, I actually have a second podcast called Musicians for Mental Health, where we talk about a lot of that type of stuff, where,
Oh, cool.
the struggles that you've gone through. And I think it's interesting because I don't think, again, the casual listener would look at Nathan James, the artwork that you have and whatnot, and go, oh, this guy has vulnerability,
Yeah,
because
they
it's
don't.
got that facade. But then when you deep dive into those lyrics and the emotion that's being portrayed, it's like, oh shit, like there's a lot here to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is, brother. There definitely is. And just trying to be happy and make it, just trying to be happy and hope that other people enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just want people to enjoy it because I enjoy it. And I want them to enjoy it. And I want to be able to keep doing this. And I want to hopefully help, inspire other people to do whatever it is they want to do, or be inspired about whatever they want to be inspired for. And yeah, I just want to just continue to do this. It's what makes me happy. It's what makes me have value and feel good. And yeah, I just want to keep being able to do this shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other side of that coin, do you ever experience any like imposter syndrome with like, am I good enough to do this? Or, am I the right person to send this message?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. You're always, wondering, could it have been better? Is this any good? You know?
Yeah.
But that's part of the game. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm the motherfucker that hangs on the bar the longest. I always remind myself that I'm gonna hang on that bar the longest. So I just keep trucking along.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think, hopefully people will find that message, in your music. And I don't think you do it with any sort of like fucked up savior complex or anything like that,
No,
where it's
yeah,
like, I do
it's
this
never that.
because,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's never that shit. You know what I mean? I'm just being myself, storytelling. Speaking from experiences or emotions, or just things I've felt or feelings, or putting it into cinematics and stories and making it happen.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Kind of as we transition towards the end here, kind of staying on that same topic a little bit though, like for anyone that's listening to this that maybe is struggling with the anxiety like you have, or the imposter syndrome, like what's that message that is for you, that mantra that's going to get you through that?
Yeah, it's always been I think I was 14 or 15 years old. One of my dad's really good friends named Shawai Meacham. I was going through a hard time. He told me, hey, listen, that's all you got to know. Know who you are, know what you stand for, and never let anyone bring you down. That's it. And that's kept me going and kept me strong mentality for such a long time. And then there's one other thing that carried me through a lot of stuff, which was no excuse, just produce. Those two things right there really helped shape me into the person I am today. You know,
Yeah.
and then when I was also one other thing too, when I was in elementary school, I had this, we'd have basketball practice, I think 2 or 3 times a week at this like rundown church in Denver, where I'm from. I was on Montclair Street, I'll never forget, in Denver. And there was this pastor, his name was Baxter. And before every practice, we'd have to, the whole team would have to talk with him, and he would just talk with us about life shit. It's nothing religion wise. It's just about just, being a good person, working hard, and doing right. And he made us memorize this mantra. And it was, to this day, right? I fucking know this, and I talk about it all the time. And it goes like this: Know who you are. Sorry, it goes. Excuses are tools of incompetence, used to build monuments of nothingness. Those who specialize in them will be seldom good at anything they do. And
Yeah.
I've had that memorized since I was in fifth grade.
Yeah.
Fourth or fifth grade, and that's also played a big role in my life. That whole mantra right there. So
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Hopefully people, hear those and can incorporate them into their lives. For you, one thing I do want to touch on that a little bit too is for anyone that's struggling to figure out who they are, for that first one that you said, like, figure out who you are,
yeah, know
be
who
who
you are,
you
know what you
are.
stand for, never let anyone bring you down. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is a tool that you can give them to know who they are?
You just gotta let time happen, right? You gotta let time happen, and you gotta accept time. And you gotta just allow yourself to develop and go through changes. Because we're never done growing and
Right.
evolving. So in those times of things, you just gotta just stay true to what you're feeling, what you're thinking,
Yeah.
as long as it's positive. You know, you don't want to be shooting yourself with negative this, negative that. You want to stay with those positive thoughts. We all get those negative moments, but we got to come and we can experience them. We can sorrow in them for a little while, but boom, we got to come back up. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome,
can't let
man.
your head be underwater for too long. Come back up.
Yeah. Turns out we're not fish, right? Like
Yeah,
you got to breathe.
come back up, and just keep it moving. King Kong mentality.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate your time. Definitely, I've enjoyed this conversation. I'm excited for the album. Kind of the standard outro that I do for everybody is obviously I'll link all your socials, but what's the best way for people to find you, interact, all of that?
Yeah, best way to find me is just Nathan James. I'm on absolutely everything except for Twitter. So just Nathan James. I'm on everything.
Is that because Twitter's an absolute shithole?
Yeah, I don't like Twitter. I never liked it.
Yeah,
Not one for tweets. Never was my thing.
yeah, no, I agree. Awesome, man. I'll keep you posted on when this goes live, and we'll
Yeah,
definitely,
clip it up. Keep me posted. DM me.
yep,
That'd be cool to
absolutely.
find some good moments of shit. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And then, down the road sometime we can do the mental health one if you want to have that
yeah,
conversation,
that'd be cool.
anxiety and everything. So
Hell yeah.
awesome, man. I appreciate it. I'll definitely keep you posted.
Yep. I'll see you next time.
Yep, sounds good, man.
Later, brother.
Later.